This is Michael Orrell of MobileBurn.com, and we have with us now the new Samsung T939 Behold 2 for T-Mobile USA. This is T-Mobile USA's fourth Android-powered device, and the first one with an AMOLED display. It's an active matrix organic LED display. So let's open this up and see what we have here. Of course, right up off the top, we have the phone itself, pulled out of the bag. You can see pretty slim looking. Fairly standard looking Samsung touchscreen form factor. We'll set that aside for now and come back to it a little bit later. Pop open the box here, and it looks like we have a little soft pouch for it. Nice soft feel for cleaning it. 3.5mm stereo headphones. It's a micro USB cable here. You see the narrow micro USB connector there. And of course the micro USB power charger as well. T-Mobile USA SIM card, which we won't need. And a micro SD to SD adapter card. Up top here, some books, CDs, things. Actually, it's a lot of paper in here. This is a service guide. This is the manual, or two manuals. Yeah, one in Spanish, one in English. Pretty sizable though. I don't often see that these days. And just a quick getting started guide as well. So here we have the Behold 2. I'm going to power it up with the call in button right here, and while it's powering up, we'll take a look at the various features of the hardware design here. You can see on the left hand edge we've got a volume control, little lanyard loop fixing point up here in the corner, 3.5mm headphone jack, of course previously mentioned micro USB connector here for both power and USB connectivity, lock button here, and of course a two-stage camera shutter button for the 5-megapixel autofocus camera. It's on the back and with the LED flash. Not too much to see on the bottom other than the little hole for the microphone. Speakerphone grill there on the bottom. Unlike a lot of Android devices, this one does not have a trackball. It uses a D-pad instead. We've got a hardware back and menu keys, home, and as you can read here, it says press this button to access your multimedia features. This is the cube menu that Samsung uses on their devices. Call end, as we already mentioned, and of course call send. Booted up pretty quickly, and let's peel off the protective covers and take a look and see what we've got underneath the wrappers. One of the big hype points for the Behold 2 is that it features an AMOLED display, an active matrix organic LED display, so there's no backlight on it. So when you turn it, really shallow angles, you don't see any lights leaking in from the back behind the display or anything like that. Also means that the blacks are very black and the colors are bright. And if you're using a black-based theme, you can save power because each pixel lights up independently. So there's no, because of the lack of backlight, there's no wasted energy there. If you take a look at the rear of the device, the rear cover, it has a nice, world map look to it. And it appears to be some kind of clear coat because the map actually is underneath the surface. It's not sitting there on the surface painted, so it's kind of cool. Glossy clear coat surface, you can see the reflections quite easily. Doesn't appear to be too bad with fingerprints, although, of course, they do show up. With a lot of Android devices, you can get past the lock screen and get right down to business just by hitting the menu button twice. It's not the case on the Behold 2, though. Samsung prefers to use separate lock buttons for a lot of their phones, so unlock it with the lock button, lock it again with the lock button. And the nice thing about that is actually it's one touch, so just one touch, unlock it, and there it goes. Nothing you have to do with the touch screen, nothing funny, it's just straight down to business, which is quite nice. Now when you notice this is the home screen, we're moving through the home screens, and it has a very cool animation look to it, as if it were the inside of a cube, which is pretty slick. With that said, there's only 3 home screens here, just like there were on the Moment, which, quite frankly, is not enough. I think the amount of time I've spent with a Click and a Hero or Droid Aeris or whatever has shown me that more home screens are definitely better. But I do really like the way it looks. 3 home screens, however, does fit into the Samsung TouchWiz 2.0 theme, and you can see it looks very much like it looks on the Samsung Jet, for example. And even the menu across the bottom does not look typical Android. It looks very much like the feature phones that Samsung's been putting out. If you're familiar with Samsung's TouchWiz user interface, you'll probably think this is the widget tray, where you would open this up and drag widgets out on the screen, but instead it's the new main menu. Samsung has totally replaced the main menu you typically found on Android devices with this instead. It's kind of cool. Scrolls pretty quickly, not exactly fluidly, I guess. It's a little choppy looking, but still works quite well, and you can tap it or drag it in and out. There's also this quick list, which Samsung has predefined with what goes on here. I don't know if it's user configurable or not. Doesn't appear to be. Yeah, because that's the main settings menu right there. Dialer application gives you quick access to things like speed dials, your contacts, call log, and voicemail. We'll just hit the voicemail button here to show you what a phone call looks like. Throw the speakerphone on.
Welcome to your T-Mobile voicemail service. Para español,
I'll hang up.
oprima.
Go back home and hit web, and this brings up the web browser. You can see we're not doing too well with a data connection right here. Of course, we'll play around with that a little bit later. Let's take a look at some of the widgets that we have. Since this one's already on one of the home screens, we'll look at that first. That's the calendar widget. It's nice you can add an event from here, and you can also switch from the month view to the current day view. Over here is a very standard looking music widget. Like other Android devices, you can just long press on something and then drag it over to the menu tab to get rid of it. And we've since opened up some space. Let's put something else on there instead. You can see it's a pretty sparse collection of widgets here. Samsung has included some clocks, but not much else. Oh, it's a nice little camera-related menu. Kind of cool. Hit the back button, I guess, to get out of it. Not sure. There it is, exit. Does have a very TouchWiz feel to it, and I don't think that's necessarily a good thing. A little difficult to work some of those widgets even. The way that had a separate exit menu and was overlaid transparent over the top of the other menu, a little bit difficult to read. Not super impressed so far. So since each home screen appears to have a separate wallpaper, let's see if we can change them individually. Okay, it's asking us which panel to change, so we're going to change this one. And we're going to go into the wallpaper gallery and trying to navigate. And it's not really working the way I would expect. Let's try this again. Do I have to use... It's really not exactly intuitive. It looks like you have to use the D-pad. It's a touchscreen device and you're forced to use the D-pad, which is pretty absurd. Yeah, very unimpressive. And unlike other Android devices, it doesn't seem that you can use the navigation controller to move from panel to panel. And let's hit the cube menu button here quickly, just to take a look at what it appears to look like. Yeah, it's quite cool flipping it around. I don't really see how this really does much of anything for anybody though, but I'll have to take a little bit of time to play around with it before I make a final judgment. At the top of the display you can see we have some notifications. We can drag it down just like on any other Android device, but you can see that Samsung has totally rebuilt the notification user interface here. Of course we have the notifications here, and we could tap on them to do something and clear them, but there's also quick access to the phone, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth settings, and GPS. So if we'll tap on Wi-Fi here, and you get a quick fix of all the different Wi-Fi networks in the area, and we'll hook up to one of those so that we can start using it for data. And now that I've put in the security information, you can see on the little map here that we have an active connection with the MFO home Wi-Fi access point. And one last thing before I wrap up, let's go into that text message there just so we can take a look at the keyboard. You can see this is a couple of free text messages that came in from T-Mobile for whatever purpose. Tap on the input box here, and the keyboard comes up. It has a very nice feel to it. The haptics are really good. The keys are small still, and I'm not sure how well the autocorrect and that kind of stuff works yet, because I obviously haven't been playing with this device as much, but it really has a very nice feel to it. The haptics really feel quite different. And as you would expect, it also works in landscape mode as well. So there you have it. Unboxing and quick first look at the Samsung T939 Behold 2 for T-Mobile USA. I'm Michael Orrell for MobileBurn.com.